Good morning, everyone. What?
Yes.
What? What? Good morning, everyone, and welcome to Viva Cafe con Leche. I've got my cafe con leche. Life is good. Good morning, everyone.
Mine's it is what it is.
It is what it is.
And look at the same almost color. Wow.
Yes, the most true and annoying expression out there. It is what it is. It could be passive aggressive, or it could be like the truest statement ever. But nonetheless, good morning. Happy Thursday. It is a beautiful sunny day here in Southern Connecticut. It's actually going to hit the high 70s today. We've had actually cooler temperatures. Look, we've got people jumping on already. Good morning, Milagros in the house. And we have Kimberly Riley. Is it Cuyate? Cuyat? We love to put the Spanish sounds in, so that's why I said Cuyate. But welcome. That's a new face. So good morning. And look at Milagros. I'm ready, ladies. Ready for part 2 of this conversation. Good. We are ready too, because we were on fire after our show on Tuesday. So anyway, before we get into all that, good morning. I am the Badass Buddha, coming to you from Southern Connecticut. Good morning.
Buenos días. Buenos días. Namaste, mi gente. Milagros and Kimberly. Good morning. Buenos días. It is the sun is still slowly breaking through here in Tampa, Florida, but I'm sure that it's hot because it's always hot. And it's Thursday, the beginning of the weekend. So what are we going to be doing? Good morning, Carmen Nieves. So at the start of the weekend here, can you believe it's what? The second week of September.
I know.
Or it's the first week from last week, but
it's like the first full week of September. Yeah. How about that?
But you know, it's like, mira qué ligero se va el tiempo. Como dice, el tiempo no espera a nadie. So we gotta get up, dress up, and show up, mi gente, because time waits for no one.
For those of you that purchased the book, Her Badass Story 2, we hope you are really enjoying the stories. You know, there's 3 of us. 3 of the authors are here right now. Me, Gladiator Guru, and Milagros Medina, and all very powerful stories. And they're there to help inspire you. So if you have not purchased your book yet, we would still love for you to do that on Amazon. We did hit we hit bestseller in the US in 3 categories. We are still working on international bestsellers. So if you know anyone in other countries that are buying, we've had purchases in Australia, Canada, Sweden, Italy. We had a lot of purchases in Italy, and I think I'm missing one. It might have been the UK. I can't remember, but it's exciting, you know, and we have so many friends across the world. So please, you know, for those of you that don't speak English, we apologize. We don't have it translated, and I don't know if that's going to happen because it is very costly to translate into just one other language. But hopefully you just give us the support by purchasing it, and then perhaps somebody can read it. You know, we'd have better off chance of actually just reading it, getting somebody who could translate it and read it into the language. You know, that would be interesting. I saw the digital only. No, the book is available. You can get the book, Carmen.
Yeah, it is. Let me hold on one momento.
Yeah, I have the book right here. But yes, you can order the book. It's pretty. I love the color of the cover is really lovely. Not that the other one wasn't good. It's just that this one is really much more bold. And that was a collective. That was the authors all deciding that, you know, hey, let's work together and find a color. So that was
last year's international bestseller, last year's, and yeah, and this year's, and it's really great. I love the number 2. To me, it's like so dramatic in a low key tone. But yeah, Carmen. So it's there, the digital. So
good morning, Stephanie Nieves. Good morning, Tiffany Bryan. And Carmen says, you have my event coming up.
Me, Carmen?
Carmen is asking us. She's asking, I think, on her event. Does Carmen have an event? I don't know. Is that what you mean, Carmen?
I think I have something. So about the 5th, the coffee.
No, I don't know. Carmen, just tell us what you mean by that.
If we have an event coming up.
Do we? Oh, yeah, we do. We do have an event coming up the 21st, September 21st, 8 to 9:30 p.m. Eastern time is going to be Her Badass Story Book Summit. And what we're hoping for is that people will actually purchase the book and then come on to the summit and meet the authors. All the authors will be present, and you'll be able to, ask questions, talk to them in real time. They'll be sharing their stories. And I'm sorry, Carmen, I wasn't thinking about the way you said it, but because right now I'm like week to week almost. And Gladiator Guru and I have been doing so many plans just between the two of us, as far as our personal stuff, our business stuff, and then Viva stuff. So that's like an additional thing. So thank you for that. Yes.
You better answer her question. Let me tell you, Carmen, we were talking about you too the other day.
Yeah, we always, Carmen always comes up in the conversation.
I want to send your mama a thank you card. That's how important you are, Carmen Nieves. Is it virtual? Yes, it's virtual.
Yep, it's virtual.
Eileen King, good morning.
Good morning, Eileen.
Yeah, and then we're going to talk about it. We're going to talk about Ajusta tu Corona as well for the October event coming up after the book signing. We're actually going to have Lilian Maldonado, the founder of Ajusta tu Corona,
on Tuesday. She's going to talk on Tuesday. She's going to be here for the first few minutes of the show once a week for the next couple of weeks. So it'll be nice to have her. And let's see. Oh, look at that, Stephanie. I feel the same. My grandma made an amazing woman. She really did. She really broke the mold there. And let's point this out. It's always one thing when a friend, says that about another person, they broke the mold. This person's phenomenal. But when your own child says it, that really speaks volumes of the respect and the love and admiration. And that really seals it to say, yeah, you know what? This person must really be something if even their child is saying that, because how many times like kids, they're like, yeah, I guess my parents all right. Yeah, they're pretty cool or whatever. But Carmen's children are always talking about that, which is wonderful. All right. So let's
at the time, that's why real quick before it's just a reminder. And Carmen is probably like, oh, stop. And I would be like, oh, stop, tell me more, But what we gotta learn is that, like Carmen, she gotta put her glasses on and she gotta look in that mirror and says, I'm phenomenal.
I love those glasses.
I'm bad because you are. So I think we gotta, once in a while, we gotta tell ourselves that. We gotta remind ourselves how awesome we are. And then just say thank you when someone else compliments us, because I think that's the hardest thing we do is accept a compliment about ourselves, not even about something we do. It's expected. Yeah, you did a great job. Well, thanks, and I put a lot of effort into it. But when they say something about you, about who am I, then we start feeling like, oh, stop, you're making me uncomfortable saying all that kind of stuff. We'll take it. We got to learn to say thank you. Anymore? Just in case.
Hey, there's Lillian.
All the way. Great day, Lillian.
Is Lillian still away? And she's tuning in, or is she back?
I believe
Lillian, are you still away? Are you tuning in across the ocean, or are you local?
So Carmen, thank you, as Badass Buddha interrupted before I finish complimenting you. So, enhorabuena, amiga.
All right.
Bye.
Look at that. So listen, we have the tribe not even missing while in Dubai. Look, still in Dubai, broadcasting from Dubai. So that's fantastic. Wonderful. So we have, again, we are continuing our taking control and taking action month for September.
Mm-hmm.
Today's topic is, what are you not hearing? And we did, what are you not seeing, on Tuesday. It was a phenomenal show. We ended up going like an hour and a half. It was like a 90-minute show. It was just spectacular. And we're going to do the same thing today. We're just going to see where it takes us. We're just going to go with the flow. Mm-hmm. For those of you that didn't get a chance to see Tuesday's show, or were only on for a brief period, we're encouraging people to go back and rewatch the shows. Start with last Thursday's show when we were talking about abandonment with our friend Gail Kraft. So we want you, these are learning coaching sessions. We're going to keep reminding you, they build on each other in the sense that they keep having you think in different terms. And then in the end, the very, very last episode of September is going to be Taking the Leap. That's called Taking the Leap. So the whole goal is to build up September so that you could jump into October and really step up and say, what is it that I really need to take a really giant leap of faith in? And do I do it now? Do I start leaping, or do I prep for the leap and get the big leap at a certain, because sometimes, if there's a leap that you have in mind and you do need some time to prepare for it, we got that. But we're going to learn that sometimes overthinking the leap prevents us from leaping. And so we want to be very mindful of that piece. So we are excited. We were so on fire when we finished Tuesday's talk. Usually Gladiator Guru, I will end the broadcast and we'll chit chat for a little while afterwards. Sometimes it's just personal stuff, but we were on for like almost another 40 minutes after the show, talking about how phenomenal it was, the energy that was coming off of it. Right.
Mm-hmm. It is.
Am I boring you?
It's what you put into it. No. Good morning, Arlene, Kelly, Darlene, Kelly, Miggy. It's what you put into it, and that's why we spoke so much afterwards. We had a lot of people comment on it, which always brings the conversation to a full circle when we're having it. When the participation of you souls that decide to log in with us every Tuesday and Thursday morning, that's time, that's effort, that's this desire to want to be, I don't want to say better, but to be more active in your life every Tuesday and Thursday.
Participation. Yep.
And I think that that's what the vibe that was felt, the energy. That's what it was on Tuesday, and how important this seeing, hearing, speaking, feeling is, because we put it on the back burner. So thank you. Welcome, and let's get this.
Let's get it moving. Tiffany Bryan is correct. Putting the work will produce a beautiful outcome, and we are all encouraging each other. Like Gladiator Guru said, this wouldn't be as successful without you. And so it's your banter, your comments. So please, let's do this again today. When we start asking the questions, I'm going to ask the same questions. When we ask those questions, start putting in that info. Share this broadcast. Get people to come on. Share the rebroadcast of it. Go on to YouTube. Share the link for people if they're not on Facebook. Have them start with the abandonment one last Thursday. So we've been in this. This is our third session now. So start with that and say, hey, listen, I want you to check this out. Go into YouTube, grab the link, start with that, and give it to them. When you have time, listen to what they have to say. Get a pen and paper, write stuff down. If you can't do it and you're driving, please don't write while you're driving, and just wait till you get there.
There's your voice recorder on your phone. Because let me tell you something, I do. And I carry paper. I mean, I have scraps of paper everywhere. But I've learned to use the voice recorder, because sometimes I am in the most inconvenient situation when the most brilliant ideas come to me. And I'm like, okay, I got to remember that. So when I'm off the toilet or off the highway or out of the shower, I'm going to write that down. And then I'm like, se me fue.
I can't see. I spelled Gail wrong. There's like the glare coming in on the keyboard. All right. So let's set our intention. let's do our mantra and let's get rocking and rolling. All right, so here we go. Our intention for today, as always on Viva Cafe con Leche, is to be intentional and
grateful.
There you go. Set your intention for whatever it is today, and then make sure that you are grateful throughout your day. All right, here we go. Here comes the mantra. Say it loud, say it proud. I am a disruptor.
I am a disruptor.
I am unapologetically courageous.
I am unapologetically courageous.
I am spiritually grounded.
I am spiritually grounded.
I am magically orgasmic.
Ole!
And I am beyond authentic.
And I keep it real.
Woo! That is phenomenal. Absolutely. Good morning, Giritza. Good morning, Gail Craft. This is great. So keep it up. Keep sharing. Let everybody know we're here. And let's go. So today's conversation is what in your life are you truly not hearing? Okay. Tuesday was seeing. What in your life are you truly not hearing? So let's start with that question. I'm going to pose the questions in the comments. We're going to put that up on top in the banners. Actually, I'll say all the questions. What in your life are you truly not hearing? How is it affecting your life? And what are you going to do about it? And remember, this is requiring you to really think, be truthful, be honest, sit with it. Don't rush through it. Take your time. Really face it. What am I not hearing? What am I not hearing? And then make a list of it. And then ask yourself, how is it affecting your life? And if it's not affecting your life, then don't worry about it. But if it is affecting your life, that's when you go on to the next question. What are you going to do about it? Okay. So Gladiator Guru, explain to everybody what it means to ask that question. What in your life are you truly not hearing?
What are you not hearing? Well,
don't we hear all the time? I mean, our ears are open. Are we not hearing?
We think we only, you know what? The same way the saying goes, we see and we hear what we want to at any given moment. We don't listen and we don't see what needs to be heard and seen because it might offend us, or it's going to hurt us, or we don't want to believe in something that's happening visually or sound. So we create something. We don't listen appropriately. So I would say, what are you listening to? Or listen to for your life, for your betterment of life. Listen to the whispered words in between your breaths. Listen to the whispered words in between the breath of the person who's speaking with you. There's a whole story to be told within that. It sounds like it's a difficult task, but it's really not. Tune into yourself. Okay? I can say one thing, but my voice is saying another. You see? Words and the way my voice is. A lot of people want to take things at face value, and then we miss the whole lesson. So listen to the whispered words in between the breaths. That tells the whole story. Listen to the sounds that are not being made, whether they're spoken, whether it's the body language of where it's coming from, and listen to the facial expressions. And the words not spoken, or words evilly enunciated. So what are you not hearing that affects your life? From the outside, that's what I would say. Listen to the words as it whispers to the wind and carries all the details to the sun about you, because then it'll rain all upon you. I got very poetic so early in the morning.
You did.
That's what I'm saying. Listen to what's not being said so that you can understand your reality. That's my take. We're going to hear the Badass Buddha's take.
Well, actually, what I was going to say, because I think that was beautiful, and I don't want to, I want to keep it.
You were going to say something different, but see, the thing is, we always want to make everything nice or be a certain point. And the truth is, when you're not awake, when you're not fully aware of who the hell you are, you're listening to what you want to hear, what's going to make you comfortable, whether the person's outright telling you the truth or they're sugarcoating the shit. the thing is, we have to pay attention. What are we taking in? Whether it's food, liquid, air we're breathing, the sounds we're listening to. And that's just something I feel like I wanted to say. I wanted to start off with, because we don't listen to the in-betweens because it's uncomfortable. Go ahead, Badass.
Well, I wanted to go deeper into that piece of it. So you explained how to do it, like what to look for, how to listen. And then, but the question is, like, right, we know we hear, you heard of selective hearing, and it's not a certain thing, but you have ears and you hear, but listening and hearing are two different things. But the question is why? Like, why don't we hear things? And it is because we don't want to. We're selective for a reason, that we can only receive what we're able to receive. When, you can hear somebody tell you, they could say the same sentence to you, like on a Tuesday, and then it didn't phase you. Like, you heard what they said, but you didn't process it. And then Saturday, after a few days, because you kind of did a couple of different things, and then Saturday they say the same exact sentence and you process it different, and then you hear it and they're like, oh, why didn't you tell me that before? And they're like, I told you on Tuesday, but you couldn't hear it because you couldn't process it. So that listening was not there. Skill set was not there. And that's what we're really wanting you to do here is what Gladiator was saying is like hearing the facial expressions, hearing what's not being said. We sometimes use our eyes to do that, and even then we're not even seeing it. But this is different. She's telling you to hear what's not being said, to listen to your inner self.
Mm-hmm.
And that's why you have to sit with this, because it's in that moment of quietness where we actually really begin to hear what our spirit is actually trying to say. Sometimes it's speaking very low, softly, and we can't hear it because we're too busy hearing everything else and we're not listening to it. But that's why we have to sit, and sometimes we have to probe. We have to ask, what is it that you need? What is it that you want? What is it that I want? And sit and shut the hell up and listen, because we avoid the things that we don't want to deal with. And that is what we're not hearing. So when we ask the question, what are in your life are you truly not hearing? You're not hearing the things that you don't want to deal with. So once again, it's the same thing as the seeing. What is it that you're not hearing? What are you putting your hands up going la, 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 and not wanting to hear, but that you have to. And the reason that you have to is because the moment you start to hear it, it makes you uncomfortable.
Why?
Exactly. It makes you, why? Because it's something that needs to be addressed, needs to be changed, needs to be dealt with. And you'd rather avoid it by going like this. La, 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 la.
Pretend you heard it in a different way. Yeah. When you don't listen to it, when you hear it, but you're not like taking it in. And the thing is, when Gail wrote, we are only ready to hear what we are able to process. Well, how do we know what are we capable of processing if we're too busy living in that fear mode?
Yes.
With that, I can't. Because look at everything we've processed in our lives at force, and we survived it. We can really do whatever it is that's needed to do. We got to remove the fear and got to say we have to do this. Because the truth, people don't want to hear the truth. They'll tell me the truth. And it always brings me back to that movie with Tom Cruise. And what's his name? Jack Nicholson. When he's in the Army, Air Force or something.
Oh, yeah. The big famous.
And he said, the truth, you can't handle the truth. And that's so true with the majority, especially like in this last couple of years. It's just like everybody's afraid of something. They don't speak up. They don't want to speak up. They don't want to look in the mirror and say, what am I capable? What did I just survive? And so the truth is something you have to discover within yourself. First discover the truth of who you are, because then you can discover your capabilities. And then you can use discernment when you're judging. So half the times, like Gail said, we are not ready to hear what we are able to process. People don't want to hear the truth, but why are we so damn quick to judge other people? The truth is right here, and we're ignoring the fuck out of our truth, but we're ready to point fingers at someone else who's living
It's
their
avoidance. It's avoidance.
truth.
And look
But
what Gail wrote.
what's the process then? What's the failure to process? If you're so quick to look at someone else's life, see them doing what you should be doing or what you want to do, and then we're so quick to judge them, but yet we can't process our own truths. So that's when you have to sit with yourself.
Yes, and you got to sit in there. You
Yeah.
got to sit.
Don't look at
so let's look at what some people so what people are saying. So Gail says sometimes what I'm not hearing is my very own truth. Absolutely. I have to stop, step back, and listen from as many perspectives as possible. If I do not take the time to listen, then I make a poor choice and feel resistance. V, my body knows truth. What I do is pay more attention to my body first than the breath. And then Tiffany writes, you are speaking to me. I've been in denial over a few situations in my life because of the fear of stepping out of my comfort zone. I've been the hamster on the wheel for too long. Thank you for your straightforward approach, because now I have to act and deal with these situations once and for all. And here's something to understand. We think that we're going into this by ourselves. When you finally step out of that comfort zone and stop the resistance, and you take a freaking breath of fucking fresh air, and you realize that, oh my God, I'm not even alone in this. That's what the tribe is for. When when Gail said about different perspectives, sometimes it's your own perspective, but sometimes you do need the outside source. You do need somebody to sort of point it into it. But the tribe is really important in that sense, just to get you started sometimes, but you still have to sit with yourself, because you need a trusted source. You don't need somebody to tell you what they think you should do based on their lives. That's why Gladiator Guru and I coach each other. She tells me what I need to hear, not what she thinks I need to hear or thinks I should do. She tells me what I need to hear and then gives me the space to process it. Okay. And that's the beauty of it. That's the beauty of our friendship and our coaching. So, okay, I'll leave it at that. What did Tiffany say here? I have the power to reach my destiny. Yep. And good morning, Janet. Janet's in the house.
Hey, sister. Yeah, what Gail wrote about processing, a lot of us we don't want to deal with it, so we ignore it. And then we get upset when somebody reminds us of it. So you have to have those conversations, as Gail said. You do have to have those conversations with yourself. Whether you sit in front of the mirror, sit in your comfort zone, put your favorite Christmas pajamas on. Who gives a shit? We're in September. Grab that taza de café, your hot tea, whatever it is. And then have a conversation. Speak to yourself out loud. Acknowledge that you are a spirit and a body. Like I have deep conversations all the time before I speak to people. And I have like 4 phenomenal females that are always there with me. So I have conversations with Juanita, with Filomena, with Isabella, y La Gitana, because they're all part of me. They were there in the worst moments of my life. So I'm like, okay, am I ignoring this? Why am I ignoring this? Okay, am I going to react to this physically? Am I going to act with slashing them with my sharp tongue? Or am I just going to ignore it? Or what do I got to be raw and naked about with myself? And if they are uncomfortable, I've written stuff down to myself and I'm like, oh my God, I can't believe it's so embarrassing. And I would walk away, and people who know me know that that's basically not who I am. But because I'm allowing myself to see myself in that vulnerable state, that I'm actually looking at, I'm like, oh my God. And all it does is make me better and has made me stronger. Me, not my businesses, not my associates, me. The Holy Trinity is what we are, plus us. So we have mind, body, spirit. Hello. And then we're all in it. So we have to ebb and flow and listen and see what we're doing, because if we don't face our truths, what? If we can't face our own truths, Laura, what is the biggest mistake we make?
We keep repeating the same mistakes. We keep living a life that's not ours. We keep living a life that's somebody else. And then in the end, we're going to resent our lives greatly. And then we are going to regret.
Yeah. And then we're going to judge other people for living their life.
Yes.
And don't
And we
see
get
it, oh, I'm
miserable.
not like
Absolutely.
that. You know
Yep.
what? When we close up the windows and the shutters in our own lives, then we're resenting everything else around us that's moving forward. But then you got to ask, why am I not moving forward? And I don't care what it is, if you're knitting a sweater or if you're deep cleaning your apartment. Why are you not moving forward with whatever task you feel you have to start with? But you're angry and resentful that someone else who maybe has less than you is doing more.
And can I interrupt you? And only because I'm going to have to jump off in a minute to take her to the bus. But I want to just say with that, that was a truth that I had to come to terms with in the last, like a couple of times within the last 18 months, twice within the last 18 months, is that I was starting to get very annoyed that people were living their lives. I started seeing that element of myself that I changed years ago, that jealous, envious type of person, a miserable person, come back because people were doing things and I was not. And and I knew damn well why that was coming up, why I was feeling this way, and so on and so forth. But I was so stuck because I was in that pity party, and it sucks to be there. And when you finally wake up and get out of it, it makes a big difference. And with that,
So
I'll be
was
right
it
back.
easier to judge everybody else while you
Yeah.
were
Oh,
doing
I was. Yep. I was angry, jealous, judging. Oh, look at that. It's this. And then I had to stop myself. And I stopped myself every single day and said, this is bullshit. Like, you got to stop. You know why you're doing this. What is the problem? And I just
Mhm.
refused to sit with myself. That was the problem. I knew I had to. I just kept refusing to sit with myself until I did.
Yep. So she's listening. She's going to be active as she's walking. But, hola, Marina. But so you got to have, what are you hearing? Anybody else give me a different perspective on what are you not hearing? So on Tuesday was, what are you not seeing? Which is, the senses that we own. And sometimes we'll see something, we can't unsee it. So we create a whole different thing, and we listen to the in between the words that makes the story sound better. Growing up, my father always said, believe nothing of what you hear, half of what you see, and everything on what you feel. Because somebody's relaying a story to you, they're going to add their little adjectives. They're going to add that boom effect to it. So the story's going to, by the time it gets to you, it's a whole other fiction. You can walk into the middle of an argument, in middle of a scene, whatever it may be. So you're only seeing half, and you probably arrive right when the person is reacting to someone's actions. So you can't really tell a whole story on that, right? But when you walk in anywhere, you got your five senses. You can see, you can hear, you can smell, you can taste. Sometimes the air is so thick when you walk into a room and there's other things happening that it's like you need to like the jungle going through or cut it with a knife. So go on what you feel. So, but what do you hear? What are you not hearing that can have a direct effect into your life? Are you not hearing yourself? Like when we tell a story, when people are like, how are you? And you're not doing well. You're not. No matter what it is you're going through, you are not doing well at that moment. A lot of people like to say, I'm fine. And then I would like to say, fine means, feeling insecure, neurotic, and emotional. Someone told me that years ago, and I never forgot it. So why are we not seeing ourselves, not listening or hearing ourselves, so that we can then speak our truths? What is it that we're holding back on? We have to I pay attention to the replay in my head every day and choose to change the story so I get out of my rut and see life differently each day. Absolutely. Sometimes we get stuck and we need to hit replay. I'm trying to find here it is. And then here, Leanne says, I had a past boss tell me not to worry about what others are doing, just worry about yourself and where you're going. He was correct. Why should I play it? Place my focus on another person when I should be paying attention to what I need to do. You know, Leanne, absolutely. It's since I was young and I would work places and I'm always on my time. So I would walk in and there was one specific woman who would stop what she was doing, whether dealing with the customer or not, to watch me walk in and immediately look up at the clock. And I would let her do that for a while. And I would always laugh and she saw me laugh. And one day she said something and I was like, if you were so focused on your work instead of me, you wouldn't be as aggravated because I'm going to be who I am. So that's absolutely true. But we got to do that. We got to focus on what we're lying to ourselves about. When we lie to ourselves, and not focusing on us, when we're not seeing ourselves for who we truly are, or when we fail or decide not to see the facade that we have built, that it's there, and then we're not listening to the facade of lies that we have set to create this person that we don't want to deal with, then who are we? So what are we not? What are you not seeing and what are you not hearing? You have to commit. You have to sign a contract, go into that business partnership with yourself and discover, accept, acknowledge who you are. And then you can see clearly. You can listen, hear what people are saying and take it for what it's worth and not worry about getting offended or being wounded or not dealing with your truths. Sometimes it takes another person. You need to hear what someone else is saying about you for you to get to know who the hell you are. Or somebody's going to say something about you that you built, that facade you created because you haven't dealt with who you are. And somebody calls you out on it. You're going to get all bent out of shape, all twisted up like a salty pretzel, and then get your, wounded and hurt and sensitive when what they're saying is the truth, but you're not ready to hear the truth because you've been hiding behind it for too long. Let me see what Arlene says. I have to listen to myself to see the real me. Absolutely. Now, Arlene, do you say it? Do you speak it out so that you can then listen to your voice and have it go back in? I do that. I talk to myself. Because when I keep something captive in here and I think I got it all worked out, I'm going to remember, I'm going to, act on it. And then it stays there. And guess what happens? It grows into this monster. And then it's like taking control. So when I say it out loud, as I feel it, it starts losing its power. And then what happens is when I speak it out, follow the whirls, right? When you're speaking, follow the whirls that are coming out of your mouth. Don't just listen to the words. Follow, like visualize it, and then see it. Woo, like go like this, woo, and enter your ears again. And then you're gonna say, "I wasted so much time on that. It's not even as bad as I thought."
Yeah.
Take your power back.
Shit, I can't tell you how many times I've said that to myself. What the hell did I waste all that energy, all that time on it?
Absolutely, always talking to myself. And I say that all the time to people. When you're stuck and you don't want to trust nobody, you don't want nobody to know where you're at, that pride will kill you. You don't want nobody to know where you're at. Go home, sit on your bed, sit on your favorite chair, and talk to yourself. Listen, Margie, what the hell are we doing? Why can't I grasp this? Ask yourself real life questions and then say, well, here it is. Say it out loud. Let it come out. See the whirls. Make them any color you want. And then they go boop and enter right back. They slide right back into your ears. And then you get that epiphany. That light bulb comes on. Like, what the hell was I worrying about that for?
Look what Gail says. Gail says, I listen with my filters and beliefs. So no, I may not be hearing what is really being said. When I ask, am I making something up here? What is the evidence that this is true? What do other people think happened? What might other people's person's motivation and or baggage be? Man, I can make up a shitload of stories. Yes. And the thing is that it takes practice to actually sit with yourself and answer that first question. What in your life are you truly not hearing? And so don't think that if you're doing these exercises like you did on Tuesday, if you started it on Tuesday and you're doing these, don't get upset with yourself if it's not easy for you. We've been doing this for years, and it takes some time, but it's a matter of being giving yourself space and grace, but giving yourself that time and honoring yourself, knowing that it's a process. So once you make this list, what in my life am I truly not hearing? Then you go to the next question. How is it affecting me? How is it affecting your life? If that list, and if you number them just to keep track of things, if you want to, you say, well, number 1 doesn't really affect me all that much. I think I've got it handled. Then good. Then you don't have to write that. The goal of this question is to get down and really be specific about, shit, what is the stuff that I really am not hearing? What am I ignoring in my life? And how is it affecting me? Well, it's preventing me from moving forward, or it's frustrating the crap out of me, or I'm getting resentful, or I'm getting jealous or guilty, or all these feelings and emotions that come up. And those are what you have to acknowledge. You have to acknowledge that, because that means that a change must come. Because if not, you're going to be 6 months from now, the same thing is going to be bothering you, and the same emotions will be coming up, and they most likely will be like multiplied. Okay. They usually don't stay the same. It just depends on the severity of the situation, but they will multiply, and then it gets more challenging to get out. Sometimes we do have to hit rock bottom to actually give ourselves the kick in the ass that we need to get out of there. But what if we don't have to hit rock bottom? Like, what if we could just see it and hear it and all those other things before we get down into the pit? If you're sinking into a pit, and you're like, I don't know how far this pit's going to go, but I'm going to be sure as shit I'm not going to get to that bottom of that pit. I'm going to stop myself right here, and I'm going to figure out how the hell to climb back out of it before I get to the bottom, because it's going to take much more energy to climb out of that bottom of that pit. And you never know what's even at the bottom of the pit. The bottom of the pit could even be mud and muck, which is even harder to pull out. And you're going to waste all your energy trying to get out of it when you could have stopped yourself before you got all the way down into the guts.
Yeah, and sometimes that's just to remind you how strong you truly are when you battle beautifully against the things that are holding you back. When you battle beautifully against the you who lives in fear. So
and yes, Georgianne's correct. Is not hearing the same as same as hearing. And yes, if you're not hearing what you need to hear in your life, you're ignoring. And sometimes it's subconscious. We want to avoid, we don't want to deal with it, so we do not process it. So it is, we ignore it, we avoid it. Look, all these words are all synonymous with each other. We distract ourselves. We what's the other? We create delusions sometimes. We convince ourselves that things aren't the way that they really aren't this way, they're this way. And it's all the same. It's all creating illusions within ourselves and not honoring ourselves.
And that's when you have to say enough with being the weak person. I want people to treat me like what I feel I deserve, but I do not believe about what I deserve, because I'm too afraid to face facts, to walk in my truth, and to live who I am. So I'm not going to hear what's going on. I'm not going to listen to certain shows because they're too close to home and they're going to trigger me. And then I'm going to feel bad because I'm ready to do those things to have a better life. The ball is always in your court, whether you're seeing it, whether you're listening to it, whether you're living it. The ball is always in your court. So Badass Buddha's writing all these questions down. I want you to figure out how to write this question down. For every person you look at with judgment, carry a pocketbook mirror, and then look at yourself 2 to 3 times. Put it away, look it back up. Okay, I'm judging this person. I don't even know what the hell they're going through. It's from my perspective of how I see them. Let me look at myself, because why am I so busy judging other people's lives and what do they have and how do they deserve that, when I don't know who the hell I am, because I refuse to listen to the reason that is the very core of myself. So always bring it back to you, because you are the victor and you are like either your prey or predator. So you play both roles.
Victor or victim. Yep.
So you cannot be your prey and then be the predator and then be the Lion King that's gonna come in and protect everything. You know what? You gotta choose the side. It's just like anything in life. What are you gonna choose that's best for you? I can't give it to you. You can't give it to me. So you know what? You got to make sure that when you are hearing something, don't, if you're afraid or you're trying to ignore a certain truth, my question to you is choose wisely who you want people feeding you their energy. You can't listen to everybody. And sometimes you got people who think they're for your good, and sometimes they're family, and they're like giving you all this advice, and in your heart, you know, like, this shit ain't right. So be careful who you're listening to, too. Who are you letting pour into your spirit? And maybe in the beginning we didn't want to hear it, we didn't trust it, we didn't believe it, so we put those earplugs in. It's time to take them out, Mama, Papa. It's time to take them out if you want to live your best life. So that person's not wrong for talking, because you allow them into your personal space. It always goes back to you. And a lot of people don't want to swallow that pill of truth. It always goes back to you. When I spend my time talking to somebody, I've listened. I talk to everybody, because then I gotta learn the differences of people. But there's not a lot of people that I'll tell my shit to, because I really don't want their opinion. But people feel, oh, but what do you think? And why are you doing this? And it's ultimately your choice.
Yes.
Who do you want to listen to? What are you going to listen to? What are you going to accept as a reality that's going to affect your life and your truth, and it's going to make you a better person or not? It is still your choice. So what are you not hearing? What you're not hearing is you're not ready to take full control of the who, of what, who you are, of who, what, and how you are going to choose to live your life going forward. And that's the truth. And it's not always nice. And it's going to hurt, and it's going to bother you. And you, at the end of the day, I'm sharing with you facts. Go ahead, badass. Because a lot of people, they say, I want the truth, and they don't want the truth.
Going on to what you had said before, don't share, as you're going through this process from last Thursday's show all through September, taking control and taking action of your life. Do not share this openly with a lot of people, and you might not be able to share it with anybody, because people will have an opinion. Because remember that any change that you make in your life, any decision that you're going to make, is going to affect somebody else in some way. Sometimes it's a small way, sometimes it's in a large way. And when it's in a large way, they're not going to be happy about that, because they're going to have to make a change. And your life is not dictated around what the fuck they have to say about it or how it affects them. Okay. So be quiet about this right now in your growth. Only speak to the people that you know 100% believe in you and want you to get better, and that they want you to move forward. Mm-hmm. The moment that person says, well, what about, that's it. Like you can't, the minute they say, well, or, you know, I don't know about that. Like the minute they throw their opinion, you've got to understand that you have to take a step back from them, because the only thing that should come out of their mouth is, I want you to be happy. I want you to live the life that you were meant to live. And you do what you think is best for you. No matter what you choose, I'm on board. I support you. And that's it. Even if the person doesn't agree with you, that's still the support. They could be open-minded and be candid about, like, you know, if you say, hey, what is your opinion on this? Like, I'm asking you, what do you think about this? They can state it because you asked. But then you still have, again, remember, what are you hearing? When you ask somebody else to help you or throw something off on them, like say, like, I want your opinion on this, their perspective, hear, listen, know that this is their perspective. All you're going to do is take that information and you're going to mull through it, and you're going to listen, and you are going to make it your own.
Mm-hmm.
because like Gladiator Guru, like I said, we coach each other. She says it like it is. I say it like it is. The interesting thing is we are so on point with each other now, especially that when one says something to the other, we both know, like if she says something to me or I say something to her, each of us know that we have to take a step back and we have to listen to what was said and then decide what we want to do upon it. And it always works, because when she tells me something, it was in a way that I didn't think about it or added to what I was, or I was on the right direction, and this vice versa. But it's taken us time to build up to this. But we also are coming from completely, the way we live our lives, we're implementing that into our friendship and into our coaching with each other. So I would never say to her, oh, well, I don't think that's a good idea. Who the fuck am I to say that to her? And she knows that.
But I will say it. I don't think that's a good idea. Really, repeat it and tell me what you're feeling about it right now. Because I think that sometimes we get so stuck on stupid within our own heads that we need somebody to shake it up. And I've said that to you. Are you sure? Because then we're going to take that hiccup and be like, oh shit, I got stuck with that in my mind last night and I'm not looking forward. And you have told me that, not in that way, but I think when people, she opened up perfectly. I'm going to say what I say. I say it with passion. People misinterpret it. Again, that's not my problem. Lori has this kind of calming voice that she'll speak her truth, but it's more in a calming way and more like
time.
She's concerned not to offend people. Okay. But sometimes maybe it's because of the way I was raised, and I appreciate how I was spoken to, because you know what? There's no misinterpretation. So I always say people who come to me for coaching are the people who are not afraid of the truth right up front. Because don't waste my time. I'm not going to waste your time. This is what we have to do. What are you going to do? Blah, blah, blah. But a lot of people don't like to listen to me speak because they're like, oh, she's too loud. Or the reality is I'm going to shake your feathers right from the start. We're not going to coast into it. Life is short. Tomorrow's not promised. We're going to talk with each other. I'm not going to waste your time. Don't waste mine. Because guess what? Who are you today? What do we want to say? I'll say, I am strong, right? I'm a truth seeker. And sometimes it's the saltiest piece that I'm chewing at that moment. But guess what I can do?
Bitter
too. Spit it out, swallow it, and drink loads of water. But if I need to do that, I need to do that because it's not going to break me. It's going to create a stronger human. I'm going to be stronger after the fact, after I cross over those coals of fire. So I am strong. I'm a truth seeker. I am important because I matter. And I am kind. And I'll smile through all the tragedies. Because at the end of the day, I'm standing tall because I walked in my truth.
Yeah.
And I don't care who gets offended, who ends up not liking me, who comes with me, who takes away from what I'm sharing with them. Those who matter don't mind, and those who mind don't matter. And Gail said something over here that where is she? She says something about she doesn't share right here. I don't share my personal growth strategy, as most people will not get it. You know what? Absolutely. Do not share your goals with people who have no visions.
Amen to that.
Because words coming from a spirit and a breath have more power than anything. And you know what? Whatever is meant for you, God will not let anybody take away. But if they're ill will towards you, you know what? It don't matter what's in your bank account, what house you live in, what kind of car you drive. People of all shapes and sizes, there's resentment. So sometimes I say, I don't care who's throwing juju vibes at me, because what God has for me is for me. But then also as well is you don't want to hear people like, are you sure? Because now they're spreading fear into your ears, right? Are you sure you want to do this right now? I mean, the economy and blah, 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 right? So you're right, Gail. It's for many reasons. Keep it to yourself until it's a done deal. And then if you want to celebrate, if you want to do something, or don't tell them shit, it's really nobody's business. So unless it's a business that you're going to promote. But the main thing is my friend Lewis, who lives in California now, years ago, we were having a conversation, and he said, people got to remember, Marge, you can't share your goals with people who have no visions. Listen, what are you not hearing when people are congratulating you or not? When people are wishing you the best or not? Because I can say, oh my God, I hope you succeed. How am I saying it? Right? How am I wearing it? Pay attention or don't say nothing. But again, you see how I just shifted to other people because I just wanted to share that statement. It's always you. You are the farmer. You fix those crops. You plant those seeds. You reap what you sow. You. So tighten up. Pay attention. What are you not allowing yourself to see? And what the hell are you not listening to in your life?
And then again, you have to write it. How is it affecting your life? If it's really affecting you badly, like if you can admit that to yourself, then that's the number one that you need to work on. The more it affects you emotionally, mentally, physically. I mean, maybe what you're not hearing is your body telling you, stop eating all this shit and start moving around, because now you're starting to feel sick. And so, like, it doesn't have to always be like this epiphany of mental awareness. It has to be, it could also be a physical, what am I not hearing? My joints keep aching. Well, what does that mean to you? What is the so it's like, and maybe it means, hey, maybe I need to really look at my diet a little differently, or maybe I need to move around a little bit more. Maybe I need to practice more self-care and stretch and get a massage or do some yoga or something like that. Right. So how is it affecting your life? If it's affecting your life on a really grand scale, those are the ones that you have to work on first. If it's not affecting all that much, you can put that towards the bottom. And if you feel like, well, it's not really that big of a deal, it's not really affecting me at all, make sure you put at this time, because right now it might not be affecting, but as you grow, then all of a sudden you have to reevaluate and re-ask these, have to ask yourself these questions again. And then all of a sudden you're like, you know what, that is affecting me now. Like this, I'll give you one. Where's that one thing in your house that like you just don't bother with? Like it could be like this piece of molding that was never put on in the kitchen. Like you redid the kitchen, there was this one little piece of molding, you ran out and you never put it in. Or there was this piece of furniture you never got rid of, or this thing that you've never, like, it just sits in the corner. And right now it's not that big of a pain point. It's like, I'm not worrying about it. But then as you grow and you work on all those things that are affecting you more intensely, then you revisit this and you finally looking at that piece of molding going, okay, that's really effing annoying me now. Like I'm seeing this and it's annoying me. And then it's going to make you take action to say, put the molding in there. And then all of a sudden you're going to go, why did I wait so long to put the molding in there? Because it took me one quick trip to Home Depot. I had measured it. They cut it on the spot. I got there, hammered it in, and it's done.
You know why? This is what I was going to say. Because you put it on the not that important part of your list. So how do you know?
You tolerate it.
How do you know, though, what's important when you're learning who the hell you are? When you're learning what to see and what you've been avoiding? I think when you make this list, she brought up a good point. Make the list, but don't separate what's important and not important, because you don't know yourself right now. You don't know yourself enough to dismiss something like that baseboard that probably created some kind of anxiety in you every day that you looked at it, but you allowed something else to cover it up. Yes. But you're always saying, why am I I feel like something bothered me, but I don't know. It's like I stubbed my toe, but I didn't, but it's bothering me, because you're not identifying that it was the fucking piece of board that you should have fixed, but you didn't give it importance because you put it at the second part of your list. Write everything down on your list and then go look at them every day, because you don't know who you are. And when we don't know who we are, we don't know what the hell is bothering us. We don't know what's important, what's imperative, or what can be totally scratched off the list, because we're not being honest with ourselves. And that's what are you not seeing and what are you not hearing goes back. And we're going to continue this until we're not. But each one is going to go back to, boom, who the hell are you? Break it down. I'm curious.
And with that question, how is it affecting your life? The next one is to take action. What are you going to do about it? Mm-hmm. So if that piece of molding is sitting there, it's just an easy one to go with. And you're like, you know what? It does affect me. I mean, I don't like looking at it. Okay, what are you going to do about it? Go put the molding in. Well, I don't know how to do that. I don't have the tools. I don't have this. Okay, who does? Who does? Who could you call right now and say, I've got this stupid piece of molding. We have phones. You could take a picture of it. Can you get here this week and fix it? Boom. That's one thing off the list. So list what it is in your life you are truly not hearing. Sit with this. Take your time. Fill it out. This is going to take days. This doesn't take a 15-minute thing. This is days. Put it down. Go back to it. Add to it. Sit quietly. How is it affecting your life? And what are you going to do about it? The part that really throws people is the how. Like, how do I get started? So if you're asking, what are you going to do about it? That's an easier thing to grasp. What are you going to do about it? Okay, what can I do about it? Let me think about this, as opposed to how am I going to fix it? Oh, I don't know how. I don't know how I'm going to work on this. If you have to take smaller steps and break it down, what are you going to do about it? Well, I'm tolerating this, and this, and I'm avoiding this. Okay, so what are you going to do about it? I'm going to start pushing myself to deal with it. Deal with it in little pieces. Maybe it's somebody that you have to deal with. Deal with them when, as soon as you can, in increments, or just dive right in and deal with them. And because if it's sitting there eating and eating and eating at you, it's something that you have to deal with. But what I find is worse is when we don't even know that it's eating at us, because we have avoided it so much, and we have blinded ourselves to it. We have blocked our ears to it. So we put it down because we cannot face that truth.
Like the ambiance noise.
So you have to ask yourself, if it is at that level that you really can't face that truth, you have to ask yourself why. That's an additional question. Why can't I face this truth? What is it about this truth that I can't face?
And you hit it on the nose. We have grown so accustomed to the bullshit that it's like second nature, which is the ambiance noise. And let me break it down a little more. 5 months ago, that you had to change the battery in that fucking fire alarm above your bedroom, in your kitchen. But you have grown so accustomed to that beep, beep, that it takes company to come over and say, damn, you need me to change the battery in that? The last time I was here, it was beeping it. And you're like, oh my God, you know what? I don't even hear it beeping anymore.
Yeah.
Because you grew accustomed to not doing it, because it's easier to complain. Because it's easier to separate yourself from people who are actually living and walking in their truths. You find something wrong with that because you can't deal with the lack of support you have given yourself by not doing the simple task of listening. Okay, and that's all for me today, mi gente. I like that. Why can't I face my truth? Please write them down. I mean, and we're here on Tuesday. We're going to talk about it as well and bring it. I mean, I'm surprised that Iritza hasn't said anything today. Chanel, prima, love you. Yolanda, hola.
Bernie's in the house too. I understand something, because this is something that has come up in my personal life, not specific to me. It's somebody within my personal life. And it's this individual is refusing to see and believe certain things because they've been so manipulated. And I really got a dose of, like, as if I'm watching a movie kind of deal to see this play out. When this is why this is so effing important, truly. It really is. We want you to think about a time when somebody told you something, stated something, showed you something, and it ended up being true. Like, it ended up being true, but you refused to believe them. You refused to honor that truth. You looked at it, you saw the proof, and you're like, nope. Because you couldn't deal with it. Think back to a time that happened, and then you found out later that you were wrong. Like, what this person showed you, what this person displayed for you, tried to convince you of, tried to get you to hear, was true. Think about what it was like. If you could think about when you were in that moment of no, not agreeing with them, to the transition point of letting go and saying, holy crap, that was true. When we prevent ourselves from hearing and seeing the truth, our truth or the truth in front of us, we keep ourselves vulnerable. We also keep ourselves controlled and very, very easy for manipulation. And I ought to know, because I lived that life for many years. I was easily manipulated. So the moment you know who you are, you step in that, you honor yourself, you figure it out, and you figure out everything about yourself, the good, the bad, and the ugly, and then you work on the bad and the ugly, and you move forward, nothing can knock you off. So like when Gladiator Guru was talking about, like, don't share your goals with people that have no vision. Think of yourself as, you ever see those things in the trampoline parks or in the play areas where the two people are standing on the bridge, the skinny little bridge, and they have the stick with the big poofy things on the end, and they're supposed to hit each other to see who could knock each other off into the pit, right? You have to think of it this way, that if you went in there and had no idea what this game was all about, and you got on there and you're just standing there and somebody just came and just went pa like that, you're gonna fall right off. But if you say, oh, wait, I got this now, and you get into a firm stance, and now when they start coming at you, you can stay on that beam, and then you can also come at them and try to get them off. You have to ground yourself solidly. So when this other stuff happens in your life, or your life is not going in the way you want it to, you have to know that I'm in charge of this. I'm the one that's preventing myself. I can come, or I can stay, or I can go. I don't have to listen to this. I don't have to buy into this. I know my truth. I'm here. And the other thing is, no more Captain Save a Ho or Save a Bro. It is not your responsibility to save people, get people, to convince people. If you know your truth, you don't never have to convince somebody of your truth. You never have to sit there and fight for yourself and explain yourself. Fuck that.
When will you listen to your truth? Yeah, getting there, being there. See, that's why I let me tell you something. Gail said something right there, big time. I hid from the truth from my first marriage. We think we can't face what's happening on the outside. Let me remind all you moms out there how you became superheroes when you allowed yourself to hear the heartbeat of your child in your womb. You became the biggest badass gladiator ever to exist. We all did. We faced the fact that we had something inside of us that we had to nurture, and we had to make sure it was safe the whole time it was within us. And then we had bone-crushing, painful labor to push this child out of us. There is nothing from those moments that are worse for you to deal with than carrying and producing another life. And it was a painful effect. And if you had a C-section, you still carried that life, and it was painful. And so you got to ask yourself, what else that exists in this world other than being the super fucking hero that I am and birthing it forward? that I can't handle? What truth? What can a man do to me that's going to break me when birthing my child didn't break me? And that's just a little thing for us to think about. It's not little, and you survived it, and you're a badass because of it. We tend to downplay the whole from pregnancy, the fears, the insecurities. Am I going to be a good mom? Am I going to be able to provide it? We go through all of that insanity. And then we face the truth of it all the minute we push it out. And we're holding this. And all those uncertainties and all that fears, it falls. Because in that instant, we're in love with the life we created. So there's nothing in this world you cannot do. There's nobody that can break you unless you allow it. Unless you allow it. And I have an appointment. But you know what? I believe we're all capable. And it doesn't matter when we learn. The thing is that we are ready to learn who the hell we are. It could be at 10. It could be 20. It could be at fucking 80 years old. It doesn't matter. But before you take your last breath, learn who you are. Learn to see. Learn to listen. And then you'll be accomplished. Doesn't matter what age you are. Doesn't matter what you allowed in the past. The thing is that you're taking your power back now.
That's right. Yep. Don't do that. Don't sit there and go, oh, I wish I had this years ago. I should have, could have, would have. You're here now. Mm-hmm. You're here now. And that's the point. Oh, my life is too hard right now. There's too much. I've put up with too much shit. I'm in too much debt. I'm in a really big hole. One step at a time. Because there have been people that have come out of some of the worst situations that they were in for years, and they walked out. They had their battle scars, their wounds,
and we walk out saying, "I got this. Mm-hmm. I got this. Thank you for believing in my failure because that gave me the strength to succeed."
And do not. Oh, go ahead.
No, that's how you got to.
And do not put a time. Like, don't have an expectation of how long it's going to take you.
Just do it. Just start where you are.
My journey has been for 6.5 years. There are moments where I slowed down quite a bit the last 2 years, and inevitably came to the I had to deal with the, what's the word I'm looking for? I had to face the facts that I was dragging my feet on certain things, and that's going to change very, very soon. And it took me, there was a slow growth. Yeah. There was a slow growth over the last couple of years. Now I could sit there and beat myself up and say, well, why didn't I do this? And why didn't I do that? Because I couldn't. And anybody that tells you different and says, oh, well, you should have been doing this. Nope. I couldn't. I could have easily failed if I had done it then, because I wasn't ready. But there's a different feeling in me now, emotionally and mentally, than there was this time last year. Completely different feeling. When you align with your truth and you align with the direction you need to go, you will know when you are ready to take baby steps or when you are ready to take that big fucking leap. And that is why the last day of this whole session for the month is going to be on the big leap. Taking the leap.
And you know what? We all go through it. And let me tell you something. I am a fluffy pillow when it comes. You know what? I want people to see their value. I want people to trust that they were created for a purpose, with a purpose, to first fill their cup and then assist in others' lives. I truly believe in that. So it doesn't matter exactly what the badass Buddha just said. It's just it was very important. So I hope you heard it. It doesn't matter when you begin or how long it takes, because what matters is what you've learned and acquired between when you start and when you finish. That's when you learn who the hell you are and how strong you are and what's for you and what's not, because everything is not for us. So we're going to fail if we keep attacking ourselves by going towards something that doesn't fit, that is not for us. So you're going to keep stumbling at the same time. Just believe that you are worthy of everything that it is that you want to acquire, because your gut is telling you that's what it is. Don't let your mind guide you. Let your gut tell you. And it doesn't matter how long it takes. What matters is that you are going to say, Hoy empiezo yo. Punto. Today, I begin. Whether it's writing it down like the badass said, whether it's clicking off this show, walking up to a coworker or something, protecting your space, your personal space, creating your boundaries. I don't care what it is, but start loving yourself like the child of God that you truly are. Start loving yourself, and everything will fall. Everything will be as it should be. Let fear go. Fuck fear.
She put I Will Survive, One Day at a Time, Sweet Jesus. She said, all these songs are popping in my head this morning. Make your playlist, man, if that helps you. You know, some days I'm putting those inspirational songs on. Some days I want quiet and I just want to be in my headspace and I don't want any music on. But again, it's about honoring yourself. Sometimes I want like a podcast on and I'm listening in the background. I've been purging. Gladiator Guru's been purging, like we had talked about on Tuesday. I've been cleaning the basement, and some days it's quiet as anything. I can't deal with the music. And then there's other days where I'm with that. I will survive. You know, I put that. You decide what your soundtrack is going to look like, if that helps you. So part of this thing is also just decide what your soundtrack is. Is it songs? Is it people talking? Is it nature? Is it nothing? Is it quiet?
It's all of it.
Honor, right? Exactly. Honor yourself at that moment in time. Anything that inspires you to keep moving forward. Like I'm a big fan of, like, when I used to run, I would put the Rocky, the theme song from Rocky, and it's so cheesy, I know, but but it worked for me because I loved that movie, you know. And when I put it on, I'm like, damn, this really is motivating me, you know. But I don't always want that. There's some days where I just want a meditation song on because that's the space I'm in, and I'm still moving and doing stuff. But I honor myself because I ask myself what it is. So do what you need to do to support yourself in this growth, in this taking control and taking action month.
Because you got to listen to what you're saying and pick accordingly. Acknowledge and honor your moods. Trust that you know what you're doing because you are the only one that can do the best job for yourself. My favorite go-to is sheer, because when people take songs and they think it's automatically for a lover. Well, I'm my lover. Okay. I love myself. I am the lover of me. So I love sheer, Strong Enough. And that's talking to my fears and whatever else that's negative, because I'm strong enough to live without you. And so pick songs, make a playlist. That was genius, badass. Thank you.
Oh, you did so make me think about it.
But make a playlist. Play all these songs. I listen when I'm painting. I listen to Nina Simone. I have a playlist. I know what fits my moods. And sometimes I just go out of the box. Do it because you are going to be with you until your last breath. People will come and go, whether it's good turns, bad turns, but you will always have to deal with you. So have the best love affair with yourself. Cultivate that self-trust, that self-love, that self-belief. And do everything with God, and you're never going to fail. And with that, we went over. Mi gente, I love you guys.
We knew we would. So listen, sit with this, answer the questions, take time for yourself this weekend, really get to know your truth. And if it brings up shit, if it brings up emotion, if it gets you in a certain way, just let it happen, feel it, release it. Next week, Tuesday is What Are You Not Saying? And Thursday is What Are You Not Feeling? All right. So we're going to continue with those same exact questions. We're going to build onto it. And this is going to be fabulous. So thank you, everybody, for coming. And you got work to do, and enjoy it. And like we said, as things are shifting, anything you're working on, send us the pictures through Messenger, and then we will post them on the Facebook page so that you can, celebrate. We can all celebrate with you. And actually we have to do that too. I've been slack on that. So thank you everybody for coming on, and have a wonderful weekend. Anything last minute, Gladiator Guru, before we do our...
You know what? we're the good parent, bad parent, the disciplinary, the soft love. We're the good cop, bad cop, but we're the people that show up every Tuesday and Thursday because we believe in you, because we need to continue to flow in our truth. And we get up and we're here. So let's keep working together. Let's work as that tribe, and let's keep sharing, because it all starts with one person that you help. And then you pay it forward. So with that, have a great weekend. Look, she asked me if I had any last words, and then she's rushing me through the shit. Unbelievable.
Notice she said no, and then she goes, blah, blah, blah.
It's a little thing, because you know what? You are the best person in your life. I am my greatest love affair. So, and I love love. So I'll fall in love in a heartbeat, because it doesn't matter. Because with love comes heartbreak, but I know that I always got me. So with that, let's go. I have company rolled up into my driveway just now.
All right. So from the Badass Buddha, remember, be you, be real, and be extraordinary.
And from the Gladiator Guru, mi gente, la Margarita, remember to breathe in the beauty and breathe out the bullshit. Namaste.